All right, let's jump right in. Because far from the headlines, a high-stakes conflict is unfolding at an incredible speed, right on the world's most critical shipping lanes.
And make no mistake, this isn't some future prediction. This is the reality on the water right now. A shadow conflict is erupting. And believe me, the first shots have already been fired.
And this is the flashpoint. In a really dramatic move, U.S. commandos have just seized a Russian oil tanker in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And that tanker? It was carrying crude oil straight to China. This one act has just thrown a whole lot of gasoline on an already raging fire. Now here's what's so fascinating about this. This wasn't some isolated incident. Nope, this seizure is just the latest link in a rapidly accelerating chain of events, a really dangerous game of tit-for-tat playing out on a global scale.
To get a sense of the sheer scale of this operation, just look at this number, 10,000. The chase for this Russian tanker spanned 10,000 nautical miles. We're not talking about a simple interception. This was a relentless, long-range pursuit all the way across the Indian Ocean.
So how do we get here so fast? Well, this timeline shows you just how insane the escalation has been over the last 48 hours. First, Iran grabs 2 tankers that are linked to the U.S. Then, in response, India, working with the U.S., seizes 3 of Iran's oil tankers. And that leads to the final domino, the U.S. making a move on Russia's tanker. See, every action triggers another, pulling in more and more global powers.
But this conflict isn't just about ships and oil anymore. As the tension is reaching a boiling point, Iran has issued a pretty chilling warning. They're hinting at a new type of warfare, something the world has apparently never seen before.
This is the direct threat they made, a promise of a surprise so devastating that it defies imagination. And they're not talking about their known missiles or drones. No, this is about something else entirely, something hidden.
So what could this unseen weapon possibly be? Well, the leading theory points to electronic warfare. This isn't a physical explosion, it's a digital attack. It's designed to cripple an entire nation's technological backbone. We're talking satellites, GPS, networks, everything. Just stop and think about the stakes here for a second. An attack like this could literally plunge a country into darkness with nationwide blackouts. It could knock out GPS and satellites, paralyzing aviation and shipping. Imagine stock markets completely frozen, military networks just disabled. It's basically a digital decapitation strike that could bring a superpower to its knees without ever firing a single missile. To really get what's happening, you gotta zoom out. This isn't just a series of random skirmishes. It's all part of a much larger, calculated game of geopolitical chess with a lot of players moving their pieces for strategic advantage. For instance, you've got one key player, Israel, watching all this with intense anxiety. Their biggest fear isn't that the U.S. won't attack Iran, but that it'll just be a limited, symbolic strike. One that lets them declare victory, but leaves Iran's core capabilities intact, and ultimately just makes them stronger and even more defiant. Meanwhile, Russia, they have their own objective in all this. Their strategy seems to be to draw the United States deeper and deeper into a long, expensive conflict in the Middle East. The longer the war, the more it drains America's resources, weakens its economy, and distracts it on the world stage. And for Russia, there's a clear historical parallel here. They remember very well how Afghanistan became the military and economic graveyard that helped bring down the Soviet Union. The strategic goal now is to turn the tables, to make the Middle East that exact same kind of nightmare for the United States. So where does all this leave us? Well, we're right on the brink. The alliances are becoming crystal clear, the battle lines are drawn, and the stage is now set for a confrontation with truly global consequences. And here's the thing that's absolutely essential to understand. Iran is not acting alone in this, not by a long shot. It stands with the full backing of both Russia and China. This isn't just some regional dispute anymore. It's a powerful bloc of nations pushing back against American influence, and it looks like the high seas are their chosen arena. Which leaves us with a final and pretty sobering question. We're seeing seizures, threats of invisible warfare, and major world powers aligning against one another. So, are we watching the opening moves on a new global battlefield? That's the question we all have to start considering.